If someone wanted to buy precious metals and they were on a strict budget, what would be the best thing to buy right now? We've been looking at this showcase for a few weeks now, and it's pretty much always full with the 90%. And then when we look at the 3/9 fine showcase, it's usually lacking. Why aren't you guys able to just order more silver from the wholesalers?
Check out the Scottsdale Mint Eagle Stacker Silver Round. Precision crafted, interlocking, and available in multiple sizes. These are an SD Bullion exclusive, a company trusted by hundreds of thousands of customers. Visit sdbullion.com/stacker.
That has got to be the most gold I've seen in the showcase in quite a while, Harry.
Yeah, for whatever reason, we've been buying gold on a regular pace, but it hasn't been selling. So it's all about silver lately.
Are people doing any types of trades one way or the other, or are they just wanting to buy silver? What is it?
The trades have tapered off since silver has gone down from, over $100 or more to 81. The ratio's back up a little bit, still not at a terrible level, but instead of being in the low 50s, it's in the 60s now, and so it's kind of slowed down the trading silver for gold thing. But nonetheless, we're ready to do it if it makes sense for both of us.
Yeah, I'm curious, what is the ratio right now with gold right around 5,000?
Let's do a little arithmetic. So the ratio right now is 61.99, 62 to 1.
So in my personal stacking strategy, it's always been if the ratio is between 60 and 80, which it is right now, then I could stack either gold or silver. Both are good options.
Yeah, when it was down in the low 50s, it became real obvious it's time to do silver for gold. Right now, it's a little ambivalent, and so we haven't done much in the way of trading. Every day, one or two, but this much gold would imply, and this little silver would imply that we haven't done much in the trades.
Yeah, when I look at the silver, you've got a few eagles here and not much else. You've got some rounds, not a lot of world coins. There is one kangaroo, which, by the way, I just dropped the video where I show how the coins are minted at the Perth Mint. So if people want to check it out, I'll put a link at the end of this video.
Yeah, that'd be a fun watch. And by the way, I mentioned in the last video that I would appreciate if everyone who's watching makes sure they subscribed, and apparently thousands did. And I want to thank everyone for that. And there's still maybe a few of you out there enjoying the videos that haven't subscribed. We'd sure be grateful if you would go ahead and hit the subscribe button. But thank you for the response last week. It was amazing. Thank you.
We set a record, actually, Harry, the most subscriptions in one day for the whole channel.
Wow. Let's see if we can beat that.
And if we take a look at the 90%, you still have a lot of half dollars, quarters, dimes, even silver dollars up here.
The reason we have so much constitutional or junk silver compared to the bullion is because, frankly, I think Adrian and I are the only ones in town buying it currently. And so the word's out, if you want to sell the 90%, come here. It's nice to have this much in stock, but it kind of tells a story when we have all this here and very little over there.
Yeah, Adrian, just out of curiosity, if someone walks in the shop and they say, hey, I want to buy today, what in your mind are they wanting? Are they wanting junk silver, gold, 999 silver? What's the most likely thing they want?
Most likely thing I would say is the pure silver, especially if it's a new stacker, they want the pure silver. More the seasoned stacker, they see the value in the 90%, with the premiums being low on the 90%. So you'll get people that'll be like, hey, yeah, I'll take your half dollars, or even the Morgan dollars and peace dollars, because compared to the silver price to what you pay on a premium on a round, the dollars are a good buy right now. But yeah, I would say most people come and ask for the pure silver, but then the more seasoned stackers, they see the value in the 90% and getting a lower cost per ounce.
For sure, and I am noticing you're still doing the spot plus when it comes to the pricing, so no change there.
No change, because the market's so volatile. Even now, it's still going up, a few dollars a day. It's been like today we're down $2.94. So by the time that we update the sign here, that's it's just all over the place, and we want to make sure to give good pricing.
Even up or down, the swings are unusual. We're starting to get used to today down $3.06. We're starting to kind of get numb to that, but that's 10 times the normal move on silver. 30 cents up and down. If it's up or down 90 cents in years past, we'd all be looking at each other like, wow, what's going on? Did a war start? And the truth is, we're all getting numb to it, but down 306 or up $6 like yesterday, it's just really, really volatile. So that's why the spot plus pricing, because We were changing the sign all day.
And you know, those are such big changes. It's true what you're saying, because if you think about it, you have a 100-ounce bar, right? And it's up $3 or down $3. That's $300. You know, on that 100-ounce bar. Yeah. And like Harry said, it's like, you know, 90 cents would have been a crazy move back then, and even 30 cents, it's like, oh, silver had a bad day or something.
Yeah.
And we're at $3 and just in the morning hours, so it's an interesting market for sure.
Yeah, have you seen all of the spoofing that's going on in the Shanghai Futures Exchange? There's now, I think, 41 confirmed cases of spoofing, and they've frozen, I believe, 7 accounts already for people trying to manipulate the price of silver.
It's very interesting to see what's going on, and now for it to be going on in China, you know, so it's makes you wonder what's really going on behind the curtains type of thing.
Well, JP Morgan recently moved their trading desk over to China, so I wonder if that has something to do with it.
Makes you wonder, right?
They've never been in trouble for spoofing the price before.
Now they're in China, so definitely they'll be walking a straight line.
Well, Harry, something we haven't talked about in a while is sort of what is the best thing to be buying or stacking. And I know there's a lot of new people getting into silver or gold for the first time. So if someone wanted to buy precious metals and they were on a strict budget, what would be the best thing to buy right now?
Well, the best thing to buy would be the Constitutional, because we're actually a little bit below spot on the pricing. The second best thing, and probably what makes the most sense for a new stacker, would be the silver rounds, because while the Constitutional is a little bit less expensive than the silver rounds, it's a little harder to work with because the math is not even numbers. And we've talked about this before. For every dollar of Constitutional, not counting the silver dollars, there's 0.715 troy ounces. So it's actually a really good opportunity to buy below spot. But most people who are new to this don't quite get the math and really are looking for something that says on the coin 1 troy ounce, 999. Probably one of the reasons we're so low on silver rounds is because it's the best seller, particularly the buffalo rounds.
Yeah, I didn't see any buffaloes down there at all.
No. That herd has left.
Okay, so we have some of the silver rounds here, and these are spot plus $5. So spot's right around $80. These would be like $85 today, right?
Correct.
Okay, so for under $100, you could get 1 ounce of pure silver. And then if we were to look at the Constitutional silver,
It's about $1.40 to get it to an ounce of silver.
and how much would this cost if they wanted to buy that today?
$79.80.
So it's $5, at least $5 cheaper to get the Constitutional.
It is, but it's a harder sell if people don't understand it. And we don't twist arms, because I get the fact that people are still learning, and this is sure a lot easier to work with or to check the value than that.
But at the end of the day, these are both about 1 ounce of silver, but this one is quite a bit cheaper.
Yeah, again, it's not labeled on the coins what they are, what the content is, what the purity is. We all know that because we're experienced. But if you're new at this, these actually are just so much easier to work with.
So it's cheaper to buy the Constitutional, but what about when it comes time to sell, if someone's looking for an exit, which is a good thing to think about whenever you're buying something, what am I going to do with this? You mentioned you guys are one of the only coin shops in the area really even buying the Constitutional silver. So is that a factor in people's heads as well?
It ought to be. I think anytime you buy precious metals, you ought to have an eye towards how easy it is to sell it, and can I get a good price for it? Honestly, right now is not a great time to sell the Constitutional, because so few shops are buying it. The buy prices are way, way down. We're honest with people. If they don't have to sell, we're clear that this isn't the best time in history to be selling that particular product.
So if someone is on a budget and they're comparing these two options here, each one is an ounce of silver, this is going to cost about $5 more to get the pure silver as opposed to the Constitutional. But then on the other end, when it comes time to sell, the pure silver is going to be a lot easier to sell, right, Adrian?
Well, it is in a way, but on the other hand, look at how divisible that ounce is here compared to the one standard round.
Oh, if you wanted to trade it or break it up.
Yeah, or you want to sell
Barter, right?
Yeah, or you want to sell just that there and keep that, where this you can't really divide it without damaging it.
Yeah, you have to cut it up and then it's worth way less.
Correct.
And I think we're going to get back to normal times, in the next few months. But if someone's looking for a quick flip, Constitutional is not the way to go right now at all. I think silver on a quick flip is a mistake altogether. But nonetheless, if you're not in a buy and hold mode in your investment right now, I'd stay away from the Constitutional, because it's hard to get a decent price for it at this time.
But if you are stacking, for 20, 30, 50 years.
Oh, then it's a screaming deal if you understand it.
True, and if you wanted to break this up even more, for the same price, you could switch these out for 10 more dimes, right?
Absolutely, or 4 quarters.
Okay, so now we got 14 silver dimes or 1 silver round. I mean, this is pretty obvious. If you wanted to just sell a little bit at a time or barter with it, this is definitely the better option.
For sure. And as people get more advanced in their stacking journey, this starts to make sense, especially if you feel barter might be in our future. Also, it's just fun to have a variety of things. That would include a variety of rounds, but there's a little kid in all of us that likes more pieces than one in some instances. So, I mean, we sell a lot of this stuff. We just don't sell as much as we buy because right now, again, we're the only one buying it. But in normal times, the supply ebbs and flows here, pretty similar to what it does in the 3 nines showcase over there.
So we've got 2 different silver options. Each of these are under $100. I would say that's definitely, you know, someone on a strict budget, they'd be looking for something like this. What if they wanted to get gold? Do you have any gold options that are on the cheaper side?
You know, oftentimes you'll see gold for sale here in the shop at spot. For instance, I don't today, but if I had this many Krugerrands as I do buffaloes and eagles, I'd probably have them in a tray at spot. I don't do that with the US gold because at these prices, I've mentioned before, that's mostly what people want. Almost exclusively is the US gold, either buffaloes or eagles. But it's tempting when the spot price plus $200 is compared to spot for the same amount of silver or gold rather, then it becomes obvious that this is a really good buy.
Right, but with gold at, you know, $5,000 an ounce, I feel like people who are on a budget, maybe they couldn't afford that at all, whether it's at spot or over.
It surprises me. I mean, people who appear to me to be of modest means, and I know you can't judge a book by its cover. You just never know. You can't judge, and you don't know what a budget means. Sometimes the budget is, you know, 2 ounces a month of gold. You know, a budget can mean a lot of things. It could mean I can afford a dime instead of a cup of Starbucks coffee, or I can afford an ounce of gold. You know, there's all manner of budgets out there.
So Adrian, what is the cheapest piece of gold someone could buy right now? Is it the 1/10 ounce?
When it comes to premium and so on, I would probably say the 1 ounce gold for the premium that you're paying, but for the dollar wise, then definitely the 10th ounce eagle.
So how much would that be today if someone wanted to pick one up?
To be a 571.
So for under $600, you could get a US minted gold coin
Yeah,
today.
definitely. Yeah, good way to get into gold, but just, you know, the premiums are pretty high.
Because if you got 10 of them, that would be $700 premium.
$700 premium.
Versus 200 on an ounce. So to Adrian's point, you know, if you can afford an ounce or if you can be patient and save up for an ounce, you're going to save $500 on the premium versus getting 10 1/10 ounce pieces.
Because you'd have to wait for gold to at least go to 5,800 or, you know, I guess 5,700 if you're not accounting the premium that you're going to sell it either under or over, depending what the market is. You technically have to wait for gold to be $5,700 to break even on that.
All right, so we covered buying gold and silver on a budget, but can we look at something fun now?
Sure, definitely. I mean, to stacking, it's not just silver, gold, but there's also numismatics, and it's a very fun part of the hobby for our true coin collectors. And we've got some really cool stuff. We're actually going to be setting up at the Long Beach show. We'll be at table 723, and we'll be buying and having some cool stuff for sale. So if anybody's looking for something cool, come and see us. But yeah, we've got some really nice patterns, some proofs. Here's one of my favorites. This is a pattern from the Simpson collection. It's an 1870 10-cent piece struck in copper, and it's one of 5 known pieces. And the Simpson collection, you know, it was talked as about the best of the best. Again, here's another pattern. These were strikes that were made by the U.S. Mint, just proposing future designs and different compositions, stuff that you don't normally see every day, and quite some rare stuff. We even have some proof-like examples of varieties. This one's the Crazy Lips.
Oh yeah.
Here's one of my favorites. This is a design of the Flying Eagle cent, but notice this is the large cent size.
Yeah.
The composition of it is what we call German silver, and this one's one of 7 known, and it's a very hard metal to strike. Definitely a tough piece to get, and this one's graded by CAC, so one of the most respected companies in the grading business.
So that coin was minted at the US Mint, but there's literally only 7 in the whole world?
Yes. And that's the cool part about patterns. We're looking for a segment of numismatics that I think still has a lot of room and time to go and some growth to be experienced. It's definitely patterns, because when you look at like a SVDB or like a 89cc, you can find those. You'll see those for sale. But these, I mean, they're one of 7. No, I challenge you to find me another one of these. It's very hard to find. Stuff that's like the pre-33 gold. This is a proof $1 gold piece. Just really, really rare stuff. And here we have another copper 10-cent piece. Again, just beautiful color on that. I mean, 4 to 12 known of that type. So it's a rarity 7. There's definitely some value there and some future growth that I think personally. And last but not least, we have a 83cc in MS65 dimple. So it's like a proof-like finish to it, and this one's a deep mirror proof-like. Notice how the devices look frosty and the field looks like a black shiny color.
Adrian, maybe you could elaborate for all of us on what a pattern is.
Yeah, so a pattern, it was never intended or made for circulation. It's like a trial piece that the officials would bring to the table at the mint and say, hey, look, this is what our coinage can look like. This is what we're capable of. What do you guys think of the design for the Flying Eagle? And they would make these in advance too. So say that they were working on the design of the 56 Flying Eagle cent, and they had, for 56 we can do this, 57 we can do that, and 58 this is what it can look like. And these are all propositions that they always wanted to show what they were capable of, because all the other countries, I mean, think of the times, in the 1850s, you see some countries putting out aluminum patterns and aluminum coins and so on. They're always looking to innovate.
And it's interesting too, you mentioned aluminum, because back in the mid-19th century, aluminum was actually more valuable than gold. It was just a very new metal. The technology wasn't there, and it was very, very difficult to actually make it. It didn't become commonplace until later in that century. To do a pattern in aluminum was pretty cool.
Yeah. And now my ladder's aluminum, so there's that.
We wrap our leftovers in it.
Yeah, you drink out of a can, it's aluminum.
Yeah.
So. We're fancy, but definitely some really cool pieces. If anybody is interested or has questions about these, I'm always happy to talk about patterns.
Well, Harry, I've got another question for you here. So we've been looking at this showcase for a few weeks now, and it's pretty much always full with the 90%. And then when we look at the 3/9 fine showcase, it's usually lacking. Why aren't you guys able to just order more silver from the wholesalers?
We actually are able to order. The problem is the turnaround time, particularly on Buffalo rounds and just rounds in general, is 3 weeks on average. And so in a volatile market like this, I could lock it in at today's price, but I don't know what it's going to be in 3 weeks. It could end up being a really, really bad investment, and I could get hurt badly if I ordered, the usual several monster boxes of this stuff. So we really have to stock the showcases in an organic fashion. That is, buying what comes in over the counter and nothing else.
When would you say is the last time you actually ordered from a wholesaler like that?
Probably October, maybe November.
So it's been quite a while.
It has. In terms of this run-up, ever since that started, it became very dangerous to order, especially with a 3-week turnaround that seems to exist right now.
And in reality, too, it's, besides the past maybe, 2 weeks, we've been stocked really well with stuff that we've been buying over the counter. And when you're one of the only shops buying around the area, you're going to get flooded with a lot of stuff. So there really hasn't been a need to, and except for the past couple of weeks. But I see that turning around here pretty quickly.
We're not lacking for product to buy every day. It's just that there's people milling about waiting for us to buy it, and they're just snapping it up in the moment, literally in the moment.
That's a great point, because if we look at the daily sales, we were just talking about it, it's like, well, where did everything go? The thing is, somebody's selling to us, there's already somebody waiting for it. So, hey, we're not going to mess with that. I mean, it's been working well, and once we open here at the shop, I mean, we start seeing, you've seen it yourself, where we start buying and then selling, and it's a cycle that just goes.
It gets crazy.
It does.
So there's still a lot of hype for silver, Harry.
A lot of excitement out there, a lot of volatility, which really does move the market, even up or down. It just causes either a lot of buying or a lot of selling. I'd like to hit an equilibrium and have enough for everybody, and yet not be overstocked on anything. Not a perfect world.
Not a perfect world by any means. All right, well, hey, thank you so much for the time, Harry.
Thank you, Silver Dragons.
Thanks a lot, Adrian.
Thank you.